Hey, this Omar, and just on here real quick talking about Carson Wentz prospects going forward. Like like where do you see him? Like I think these past two seasons it's kind of like like been shown that maybe he lost it. He ain't the same dude. You feel me? Like it's crazy because if you look at his stats, right? Just sometimes I guess you can't just tell everything by stats, right? But last year he had 27 touchdown passes and 7 interceptions. With the Indianapolis Colts. Jonathan Taylor had a phenomenal year, and the skill people wasn't really as good as the people that he had in Washington. But for some reason, he came to Washington and he just ain't cut it. You know what I'm saying? For whatever the reason is, maybe the people ain't buying to him or what. But you looked at him today, and they facing Cleveland, right? And no disrespect to Cleveland, but they pass defense ain't ain't locked down like it is. Now I don't know whether they turned the corner in this back half of the season. Maybe they playing harder, but for the most part of the season, everybody was, you could throw on that defense, right? Washington team, whether you like them or you dislike them, one thing you could at least say, they have one of the better skill position. As far as last year, only thing that the Colts have better than Washington is HB1, which is Taylor. I would say Taylor is better than Robinson and Gibson, right? But as far as receivers and the tight ends, maybe I might get an Indy because I like Indy's tight ends or whatever. But the receivers is hands down. The Washington got better receiving. You got the young boy they drafted, Dawson. You got McLaren. You got Samuel. Then you had Brown coming in, gave him some solid games when Dawson was hurt. And so, you also sprinkle in Logan Thomas, but the core of them are like pretty young, you feel me? And he couldn't cut it. Like the shit is crazy, man. Like you look at this shit, the man is 11 touchdowns, 11 touchdowns and 6 interceptions. You know what I'm saying? I mean, he got beat out by Taylor Heineke, you know what I'm saying? And Taylor Heineke, I guess he more familiar with that offense. He run it better. I didn't see no need for them to go do a drastic change as far as, benching him. You know what I'm saying? Like, okay, he looked bad versus 49ers, but 49ers made a lot of quarterbacks look bad. You know what I'm saying? He shouldn't have held that. He shouldn't have held that against them. You know what I'm saying? Like he the one that got you in position to be in the playoffs. Like, yeah, the game versus the Giants, a couple of weeks ago, the primetime game, he did miss a lot of passes or whatever, where he should have made it, and that could have maybe swung the trajectory of their season. You feel me? But you still should have rolled with dude, you know what I'm saying? Cause like I said, he been the one to actually, make that offense look like something. When you Winston it, it's like it's just the same like in New York when Zach Wilson played and the whole offense just looked like, man, we ain't got no shot. The same thing is with Wentz. When Wentz is out there, the whole offense feel like they had no energy. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't know whether they all went partying last night or whatever, celebrating the New Year's, but you definitely ain't see no urgency, and you know what I'm saying. Then so you see, you know, Cleveland come in there and just take it to them. You know what I'm saying? Deshaun didn't really have a monster game. That's what's crazy. Chubb went over 100, and Cooper went over 100, but Deshaun Watson didn't even have 20 yards. You know what I'm saying? Like if you look at the stats in the trailing position, Wentz didn't even get 200 yards, even though he was trailing for most of the game. That's crazy. You know what I'm saying? You don't know what he's seeing out there. You know what I'm saying? He throws the ball in double coverage a lot, and you be asking yourself like, what you seeing? You know what I'm saying? Because the guy wasn't nowhere near open. So I'm curious to see, right? Now he done went from in back-to-back seasons, he went from Philly to Indy to Washington. So I'm curious to see if he still finds his way on another roster next year, even though his play has drastically shown that, that he don't got it. You know what I'm saying? Like I think the numbers from last year is a bit exaggerated. You feel me? Like even though as a career, right? He kind of had a season like he had last year, right? Like if you look at the last year in Philly, he was 16-15, right? Because everybody knew like, yeah, okay, he about to get up out of there. But then if you look, the year he had the monster year, the MVP type of year, he had 33-7, right? That was his second year. After he got hurt, he came back and he was 21-7. That's not bad. That's solid. 2019, he was 27-7. And that's also a solid ass year for a quarterback. But that for something happened where he changed to something. I don't know whether he was feeling himself or what, but that year he went 16-15. It's like when Philly was like, nah, we'll just roll with Hurts. And so, he went last year and when he lost the game to the Raiders in like what week 17, and then he got smashed by Jacksonville. And then the owner in Indy, he kind of like seems kind of irrational type of guy, right? So, he just said, "Oh hell with that dude," you know what I'm saying? And then he saw you see how he just went off on him. Like normally owners don't do stuff like that, but it's gonna be curious to see, you know what I'm saying? Because like I said, I'm a fan of Cam, and even though people might say, yeah, his accuracy done went, but I haven't really seen him get a whole off season with a squad to where he can he can actually learn the system, get, camaraderie with the, people, receivers and all that, and then go into a season. I didn't see that. Even with New England, it was like some flyby shit. He come in, they was like, okay, yeah, make plays. And so when they just, use them up as far as more running than throwing, you would think that he should have got another shot, but then they went with Matt Jones, which that was like I didn't think they. I think they Cam should have got at least a second year in that system just to see if it could have been. It could have been, some there, some spark or whatever. But I'm just gonna be curious to see like if they gonna just roll Wentz out on another roster and just say, okay, yeah. I don't think he's a starter no more. I think he's a backup, and he probably can work his way as far as getting you some plays if the starter gets hurt. But I think he kind of lost confidence in himself. And yeah, that's just my thoughts on it. All right, thanks for listening.